Tracy Beaker is back. But are you not caught up on how life has been treating our favourite care kid? Well, this is the video for you. My mum, Tracy Beaker, reintroduced the world to our favourite former care kid in a brand new role in her life. As a single mum to a 12-year-old daughter called Jess. Jess is very different in personality from her wild, loud older mum, Tracy, but despite their differences, they still form a very close bond. However, that bond soon threatens to be disrupted when Tracy ends up reuniting with a former childhood friend of hers, Sean Godfrey, who has since become a famous footballer, and the two soon start a whirlwind romance. With Tracy dating Sean, the family soon winds up moving into his fancy house with his fancy stuff, and Tracy winds up getting a pink Cadillac just like she always imagined her mum riding. And Jess even ends up getting ownership of a dog called Alfie she's been longing to have for years. Things are finally looking up for the Beakers, especially for Tracy, who has always longed for Jess to have the kind of childhood that she never had, and now it seems to be coming true. However, despite all these supposedly good things, Jess can't help but feel that something's not right, and eventually she soon discovers that Sean has been texting someone on a secret second phone, a woman who is not Tracy. With the help of her friend Tyrone, who is also being mentored by Sean on a special football scholarship thingy, they soon discover that Sean is cheating on Tracy. And even worse, the woman he's cheating with is Justine Littlewood, Tracy's former childhood rival. When this news gets out, Tracy is furious. She moves out of the house and then enters a very severe period of depression. After a confrontation with Justine turns to violence, she ends up losing her job. Sean begs for forgiveness, which Tracy refutes. However, this whole ordeal has strengthened the bond between Jess and Tracy, and they eventually decide to move to a small seaside town called Cooksey. Oh yeah, also Tracy's foster mum, Cam, and Jess's teacher, Mary Oliver, wind up getting married, so that's good. The story continues in The Beaker Girls, where Tracy and Jess have settled into this quaint little antique shop, which coincidentally enough is called the Dumping Ground, the same nickname that Tracy once gave the care home she used to live in. Tracy works there as a manager, alongside the woman who runs the place, a former actress called Flo. Jess soon ends up starting two new relationships, forming a friendship with a girl called Patience, and also meeting an older girl called Jordan, though their relationship gets to a rocky start when Jordan mugs her. However, upon learning that Jordan is also a care kid, Jess decides to try and help her out, though this attempt turns sour when Jordan shoplifts from a shop, with Jess as a witness. Things also get complicated when Sean and Tyrone suddenly turn up in town, bringing everyone onto a surprise picnic where things get interesting. Also, Justine shows up, vandalizes Sean's car and accuses him of cheating on her, while also revealing to Tracy that her father is suffering with dementia. So obviously things are very difficult for Tracy's former rival right now. Despite learning the truth about Jordan during the picnic, Tracy decides to invite the girl to live with them, and things seem to be doing okay for the most part. However, things don't stay great for long, because you can't just invite another girl to live with you just like that. When the school's head teacher, Peter, who also happens to be a former childhood friend of Tracy's, informs Cam and Mary about the whole Jordan situation, the two decide to encourage Tracy to inform social services of what's going on. Unfortunately, Jordan overhears this and runs away, stealing £500 in the process. Things are looking pretty bleak right now, and only get even more complicated when Jess's dad, Cy Martin, suddenly turns up in her life again. While attempting to reconnect with her dad, she ends up discovering that he's now remarried and has a new family. Upon learning that Tracy already knew about this, Jess is angry that she was never told about this, and almost threatens to leave, and only decides not to following advice from Cam. Months pass, until eventually Christmas comes around the corner. Jess and Patience suddenly discover Jordan is living on the streets, and despite things getting tense at first, Jess does try to convince Jordan to come around for the holidays. But Jordan's not the only concern this Christmas. Tracy decides to invite Justine Littlewood over for the holidays upon learning that Justine's dad has died, and this winds up angering Jess, who still hasn't forgiven her for all the stuff that happened before, to the point where she even starts considering going away to spend Christmas with her dad, when Sean Godfrey crashes a Santa's Grotto event happening at the dumping ground, and Justine Littlewood turns up heavily pregnant, all of the drama proves too much for Jess, who ultimately decides that she is going to take up her dad's offer of spending Christmas with him after all. And the only reason she chooses not to go ahead with it is ultimately because she discovers Jordan and makes one last impassioned plea to help her out. And it actually works this time. Despite the hecticness, eventually everyone's able to come around for Christmas. Justine gives birth to a baby boy, who she names after her father, and the Beakers are able to celebrate Christmas with everyone. And that is everything that happened in My Mum Tracy Beaker and the first series of the Beaker Girls. What will Series 2 bring for this makeshift family? Well, why don't you go find out?